Hello, dear students. This is KRT Arts, BH Commerce and AM Science College, that is KTHM College, Nasik, and I am Professor Sunita Suresh Borde from Department of English. So today we are going to deal with history of Indian English literature in the subject Indian writing in English for MA Part 2, Semester 3rd. So, my dear students, in the previous lecture or in the previous video, we had learned about the history of Indian English prose, and today we are going to deal with history of Indian English poetry and history of Indian English drama. So, dear students, let's have a look at history of Indian English poetry and drama. So, when we think about Indian English poetry, uh, then the history, Indian English history is a glorious history, and in Indian English poetry, when we think about Indian English poetry, the first name which comes before our eyes is Henry Louis Vivian Derozio. He was born in 1809 and died in 1831. He was considered as the first Indian English poet. Uh, his collection of poems, the poems, which was published in 1827, The Fakir of Jangira, A Metrical Tale, and other poems in 1828. He was influenced by British Romantic poets in writing shorter poems. Even in writing longer poems, he was influenced. Sometimes he was influenced by Alexander Pope, and Lord Byron is visible in his satirical verse and long narrative poems. Another noteworthy feature of Derozio as a poet is his burning nationalistic zeal. So Derozio is actually a true patriotic poem. His poems like To India, My Native Land, The Harp of India, and To the Pupils of Hindu College are noteworthy. So these are the poems where we can observe unmistakable authenticity of patriotic utterances. Then, my dear students, Indian English poetry came to the mature phase with Toru Datta, and she was born in 1856 and died in 1877. Her poems, A Chiffre Gleaned in French Fields, was published in 1876. Was actually a translation of a 165 French lyrics into English. Even her sister Aru Datta also translated a fewer lyrics. Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan was published in 1882. Was published posthumously. The poems of this volume carries influence of John Keats. Toru Datta was the first Indian English poet who extensively used Indian myths and legends in her poetry. Now we'll switch on the next slide, and here in this list we had come the name comes before us, that is Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore's fame as an Indian English poet suddenly lies on Gitanjali, which was published in 1912. uh, Gitanjali actually is a collection of songs which were translated from Bengali into English, and for which he got the most prestigious award, that is Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. His 8 collections of poems are like this: The Gardener, which was published in 1913; The Crescent Moon; 1918, Fruit Gathering 1916, Stray Birds 1916, Lover's Gift and Crossing 1918, The Fugitive 1921, Fireflies 1928, and his poems 1942. The last one, that is the poems, was published posthumously. With his simplicity, passion, and sensuousness, Tagore treated his varied subjects like God, love, nature, life, and death, and a child in his poetries. The central theme of Gitanjali is devotion and is carrying forward the Indian tradition of poets' search for divine grace. When we read his poetry, we find resemblance. We find resemblance with Robert Browning. His resemblance with Robert Browning. Okay. Then comes the name Sir Sri Aurobindo Ghosh. So Sri Aurobindo Ghosh, just like Rabindranath Tagore, the sage poet, born in 1872, 1950, Sri Aurobindo began his poetic career with short poems. The themes of these poems were love, sorrow, death, and liberty. He introduced Greek names in his poetry. Urvashi, Love and Death, and Braji Prabhu are his three long poems written in blank verse. Then one more his longer poem, long narrative poem, which is named as Savitri, is actually an epic poem on the theme of Satyavan and Savitri, the Indian mythological character Satyavan Savitri. So this poem is uh, is in 12 books and is in 49 cantos. Then in this list, in the history of Indian English poetry, the next name which comes before us is Sarojini Naidu. She has put the golden feather into the crown of Indian English poetry with her poems like The Golden Threshold, The Birch of Time, The Broken Wing, The Sceptred Flute. She has also written for some folk songs. Her folk songs were rooted in the Indian setting where Indian folks uh, engaged in their conventional occupations. In poems like Palanquin Bearer, Indian Weavers, Wandering Singers. So, love was one of her favorite subject in her poetry, which she handled with variety of mood, approach, and technique. So Sarojini Naidu was also titled as Nightingale of India because of her poetic creative power. Then we switch on to the next slide, and here we are going to deal with the history of Indian English drama. So drama is actually a composite art form. And all of us know that drama is a composite art form and it is mimetic like all other performing arts in literature because it imitates life. Okay, it imitates men and women as they are in real world. So drama is actually is designed for representation on the stage by actors who act the parts of the characters of its story and among whom the narrative and the dialogue are distributed. So, dear students, India has a long and fertile history in drama, starting from Sanskrit plays of Vedic age. Dramatists of Indian writing in English have scaled the length and breadth of the experimentation in drama of India. We may say in dramaturgy of India. So during and after independence, India had been under the colonial shackles for a time period of near about 300 years. And as a matter of fact, the colonial language and culture had cast its direct shadow on the Indian literary venues. The Indian English drama began in 18th century when British Empire came and strengthened their political power in India. It started with publication of Krishna Mohan Banerjee's The Persecuted in 1831. It illustrates the present state of Hindu society in Calcutta. The real journey of Indian English drama begins with Michael Madhusudan Datta and his plays is this called Civilization, which appeared on the literary horizon in 1871. So Madhusudan Datta has translated his three Bengali plays in English, which are like Ratnavali, Sarmista, and is this called Civilization. It means that all these plays were basically in Bengali language, and later on he has translated those plays in English and added into English, Indian English drama. Then comes the name of Sri Aurobindo. So actually, Rabindranath Tagore and Sri Aurobindo, they were the sage poets. Were great sage poets and of India, and are the first Indian dramatists in English worth considering. So Sri Aurobindo, he had influenced by he was influenced by Elizabethan drama, and when we read his plays like Witch of Ilni, A Dream of Woodland, The Viziers of Vasora, or Radogun, we feel that we feel the influence of Elizabethan drama in it. So Radogun was actually his only tragedy. He has treated the theme of love as benevolent force to destroy evil in all his plays. Then comes the name of Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore wrote primarily in Bengali, but almost all his Bengali plays are available to us in English renderings. He has translated his Bengali plays into English. So, when we think about his plays could be divided into two groups. The first one is thesis plays, and the other one is psychological plays. So, when we think about or when we group some of his plays under the title thesis plays, the names of the play which comes under this group are Sannyasi, The Cycle of Spring, Chitra, Marini, Sacrifice, Natir Puja, and Red Olinders. These are the plays which can be grouped under the first group, that is thesis plays. And then his other plays like King and the Queen, Kacha and Devayani, Karna and Kunti, and the Mother's Prayers were considered as psychological plays. Then comes the name Harindranath Chattopadhyay. Harindranath Chattopadhyay added a new dimensions to Indian English drama. He sympathizes with the downtrodden people like Mulk Raj Anand. His collection of social plays include Abu Hassan, uh, then five plays, his five plays, which contain the windows, the parrot, the coffin, the evening lamp, the sentry's lantern. So these plays were marked by the simultaneous use of realism and symbolism. These all are social plays. Even he has written verse dramas. He has written verse dramas on the life of seven Indian saints. Uh, then comes the name in the series, that is A.S. Panchapakesa. He was born in 1899 and died in 1963. He also has added the new flavor and the new colors in the Indian English dramatic field, Indian English um, uh, uh, dramatic collection. So he has written almost six plays, and which carries his prominently uh, reformist message. So some of his plays are um, more prolific, that is Sita's Choice, Slave of Idea, The Clutch of the Devil, The Trial of Science for the Murder of Humanity. Well, these are his plays which were considered as more prominent. And then comes the name Bharti Sarabhai. So Bharti Sarabhai is the name of a female playwright. So you also have sensed that, you might have sensed that she is the first woman playwright in the history of Indian English drama. Her plays, that is The Well of the People and Two Women, were considered the first plays in English by women in Indian English. Okay, the first plays in English by Indian women. The Well of the People was actually verse drama. So women actually they came late in writing field. Okay, there are a number of reasons why women came late in writing field. Maybe there are the problems of illiteracy, there are the problems of Indian tradition and culture. The shackles of Indian tradition and culture has constrained women or female to come forward and write about their own life, about the society. So that's why the women writers they came late. So Bharti Sarabhai, she has initiated in writing dramas, and then later on number of women writers they came forward, and they had written their story, they had written about the society, they had written about the real condition of the society. So dear students, uh, this is for today's lecture. So today we had learned the history of Indian English literature, and under this history of Indian English literature we had seen the history of Indian English poetry. We had seen the prominent poets, okay, the prominent poets in Indian English poetry who has started writing poems and has become a milestone in Indian English history, in the Indian English history in English, in writing in English poems. Then we had seen that Indian English drama. Okay, so actually Indian drama. Okay, in when we think, or when we read about Indian drama, we had seen that there's a glorious history of Indian English drama. But when this Britishers they enter India, they invade India, when they had flourished India, when they had conquered much of the territorial parts of India, then and then they had started schools here in India, schools and colleges here in India, and Indian people they learned English, and later on when they learned English, they learned they read in English literature, and by getting inspiration from from English literature, and their own native literature, they started writing English literature. They started, some of them translated their literature into English, like Rabindranath Tagore, like Sri Aurobindo, like Chattopadhyay. Okay, such people, just translated their literature into English, so their literature remain static to their culture. Okay, but some writers, they uh, they read in English literature and they got inspired by that literature, and they simply, by out of inspiration, out of um, that inspiration, they had written, or or you may say that they had just imitated, okay, that imitated that English literature. And so this is the history of Indian English poetry and drama. And in the next lecture, my dear students, we are going to see the history of Indian English novels in detail. So for today, this is all for today. So if you have any question regarding today's lecture, if you have any queries, you can reply me. We'll discuss it in the next lecture. So um, for today, bye bye, and thank you very much. Keep watching the videos, keep update yourself, keep studying, stay home, and stay safe. Okay, thank you.